morning, everybody who is listening out there. Happy Tuesday morning. I'd like to read something to you that I think is a huge encouragement. I'd also like to lead us in a song that I also believe is very, very encouraging. Let me read part of a story to you. This comes out of Matthew chapter 14, and I'm going to pick it up on verse 25. During the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went out to them walking on the lake. And when the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage. It is I. Do not be afraid." "Well, Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, then tell me to come to you on the water." "Yes, come," he said. Peter got down out of the boat, and he walked on the water and came toward Jesus. I'm going to pause it right there. We'll get back to the text in just a minute. You call me out upon the water, the great unknown, where feet may fail, and there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep, my faith will stand. Trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. We know for Peter, the story didn't end there. Before we pick this up on verse 30. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," he said, "why did you doubt?" And when they climbed into the boat and the wind had died down, then those who were with him in the boat worshiped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." I just want to draw our attention to what we might consider a failure. Peter had great intentions and courage, and he wanted to come out to Jesus, and Jesus called him out, and in faith Peter stepped out of the boat and he began walking on the water towards Jesus. And we're familiar with this story in the sense that Peter became very frightened, and he saw the waves at his feet. He took his eyes off of Jesus. He began to sink. Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and grabs Peter, and they go up into the boat together. And then they all worship Jesus. I mean, what an amazing scene this is. What must Peter have thought, though? I mean, he starts to sink, and Jesus grabs his hand and lifts him up. And the words that Jesus tells Peter are, I don't know, kind of challenging in a sense. He says, "You of little faith," he said, "why did you doubt?" And we read those words, and I would imagine that maybe Peter felt like he was a failure, like he had no faith, like what am I even doing this for? What's it all about? But Jesus' response to him, I think, is said out of love. Jesus is speaking the truth to Peter. He's being very open and honest with Peter and letting Peter know where he is in his faith, and then he lifts him up. I would think also that maybe perhaps Peter would think that Jesus caught him. Jesus saved him. That he took faith, he stepped out of the boat, he was walking on the water, but then that faith kind of quickly diminished, but Jesus was right there to catch him. And I really believe that there's something here for us. When we take chances in our faith and we step out of that boat, step out of the area where we're comfortable, don't be afraid to fail. Peter was not afraid to fail, and we would later read that he would fail even again. But once again, Jesus is there. Jesus will always catch you. He will grab a hold of you, and he will lift you up. Sometimes we're very humbled by our failures, but it's in that humility in our failure that God meets us there and lifts us up to a place that we could not go on our own. So in the coming days and weeks, as we begin to transition, as we explore the new normalcy, whatever that might be, let's get out of the boat. Let's walk. Let's walk on the water. Let's go where Jesus calls us to go. Let's not be afraid to fail, because Jesus, in our failure, will pick us up and he will carry us the whole way. But let's take those chances. I love you guys. Have a great, great week. God bless.